Good afternoon. I'm with Andy Hicks, Director of ETF Research and Strategy at ALPS Advisors. So Andy, you have a ESG fund that's been around for a while, but you focus on the E. So let's talk about that.
You know, at ALPS, we want to focus on things that we know are very certain in terms of outcomes. And the E in ESG is something we know for sure in terms of environmental. We can put an actual litmus test around companies that are either clean or dirty. And from our perspective, you know, the S, the G, the social and the governance standpoint is a little bit more opaque in terms of how people are scoring those. And that goes all the way down into making sure the board is, you know, very well represented. You can do that on paper, but there's a lot of more subjective scoring to it. And so from our standpoint, we just wanted to focus on the most important critical component to that, and that's the environmental side of that. So we have the ALPS Clean Energy ETF, the ticker is ACES, that launched a year and a half ago. It's performed extremely well. And I think you've just hit this inflection point with investors that they're understanding that the economics now make sense for this whole industry. And that's not just solar and wind, that's across the whole space.
Okay, and also, how do you look at the energy? Like, which sectors do you favor, or how do you come up with your selections to be in the portfolio?
Yeah, so we partnered with CIBC. They've got a very strong clean energy team as our index provider. And another thing we do at ALPS is when we're going to get into a thematic product, we want to focus on pure play companies. And so, you know, they just had a debate in there. Is ExxonMobil a clean energy company? Yes, they have a very big biodiesel stamp, but they're not clean energy, let's face it. And so we want to make sure that what we're adding into our product is a pure play company, meaning over 50% of its revenues are generated from clean energy sources. And that's what CIBC did, and they did that across 7 different clean energy segments. Wind and solar, of course, but all the way into biodiesel, hydro, electric vehicle, and so forth. So what we wanted to do is to have a more comprehensive offering within clean energy. And importantly, a lot of these now work without subsidies because a lot of them are hitting these inflection points, and it creates a lot better of a diversified portfolio that helps smooth out that volatility of just one particular clean energy segment.
Okay, and then what are you looking at beyond ACES?
Well, you know, as I mentioned, environmental. The E part of it is that ESG mandate that we're trying to give investors that solution. Certainly beyond clean energy, once we can go into, again, I think there has to be, and I don't know an index provider out there, truthfully, that has a very robust SG component scoring system. And I think that's a huge debate right now. Our job as people that create ETFs is not to give people something that's gimmicky. And until we can come up with a standardized litmus test, if you will, for the true SG component to that, I don't see ALPS ever launching something that's the full suite of it. But in the interim, we do know for certain that the environmental component is extremely important to people, and we've got a great solution for that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.